Welcome to Jenny Carr Health. This is your 6-day water challenge, and I am so excited to be here with you. My name is Jenny Carr. I am the leading inflammation expert, international best-selling author of the book Piece of Cake, The Secret to an Anti-Inflammatory Diet. And my next book, The Clean Eating Kit, comes out January 21st. So I hope you will all be celebrating with me as we spread the message of helping people reverse chronic symptoms in their body without feeling overwhelmed and deprived, including the youngest generation that so desperately need it. So today is day 1 of the water challenge, and I so fittingly am here in my backyard standing above a creek of water. I just thought it would be the right place to do this. And so each day I'm going to be making these short videos for you, giving you some tips and tricks to make this challenge even more productive, easier, fun, and effective. So you guys, as you all know, because you signed up under this caveat, knowing that drinking a lot of water is the number one method to push inflammation out of your body without feeling overwhelmed and deprived and without changing your diet. It's free, it's easy, it's odorless and tasteless, right? It could not be any easier. Yet, we all know water is important, and so many people don't drink hardly any, and very often not enough when it comes to detoxifying. So we're going to talk about the difference between detoxifying versus hydration when it comes to water today. We're going to be talking about how inflammation is impacting you in more ways than you realize. And then our goal. What is the goal? How much water do we want to be drinking? Where do we start? And then, of course, there will be a link in the email to this Facebook group in Freedom from Inflammation. The post for each day, each day in the Freedom from Inflammation post, in the Freedom from Inflammation group, there will be a post sharing information from each day of the challenge. And underneath that post, please ask questions, share wins. We love extra bonus points to everyone who takes photos of them drinking water, their water bottles, where they're drinking water, what they're doing, and post them in the Freedom from Inflammation group. We want to inundate this group with inspiration so that everyone will embrace this amazing way, an easy way to push inflammation out of their body. Okay, so first things first, let's start with how is inflammation affecting you in more ways than you realize. Yesterday, you guys received an email with a printout for a stick figure. And on the stick figure, it asked you to scan your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes to think about what symptoms you experience consistently. Chronic symptoms, which means you've experienced them for 3 months or more. And whether they show up every day, every week, every month, that's less important. But the fact that they're kind of being persistent, that is important, because that tells us that inflammation is at the root of those. While inflammation comes from a number of different things, from diet, lack of movement, lack of water, stress, environmental toxins are the top 5 things that chronic inflammation show up from. We have so much incredible ability and power to eliminate those toxins simply by drinking more water. So if you did that stick figure, and if you didn't, go ahead and do it now or as soon as this video is done, and notice what are the symptoms that scream at you. Maybe you have a really painful joint or knees, elbows, body pains. Maybe you are bloated, severely bloated more days than not. It could be that you have an autoimmune condition or skin issues, digestive concerns, hair loss. The list goes on, and inflammation shows up uniquely for each person, depending on their genetic makeup, overuse of the body, and just certain areas in the body that aren't as strong. So what we really want to do is identify what are those chronic symptoms, whether they have to do with inflammation or not. We'll find out at the end of this week. And then also identify the really subtle chronic inflammation, the subtle symptoms. So these are things that if you had a magic wand and if you could make one wish and change your body into the most vibrant, perfect, beautiful health, the little subtle things maybe that you don't notice every day or that you've gotten really used to, you want to make note of those. For example, you may always feel tired in the afternoon. You may feel nauseous more days than not, and you've just kind of noted that you are the kind of person that gets nauseous easily. That's one of the things that happened to me a long time ago. And I was like, I'm just someone that's nauseous easily. Not necessarily true. It could be that your skin is dry or you break out a lot. It could be that you don't sleep well at night. Anything that's just really subtle, you've gotten used to, mark those down as well. And then there's another component to identifying whether or not inflammation is affecting you, and that is our mental and emotional well-being as well as behavioral conditions. So my son is the inspiration for my next book, The Clean Eating Kid. He had a severe sensory condition, and chronic inflammation was at the root of that. When we changed his diet, 85% of his sensory condition improved after just 2 months. You guys see my notes here. So think about autism, ADD, ADHD, sensory conditions. A lot of those are rooted in inflammation and gut health. And then also our mental and emotional well-being. If you experience chronic anxiety, chronic depression, for example, science has proven those are also rooted in inflammation. Now, if there's an acute, if you just lost a loved one or got in an accident or broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, that's not chronic. But if you've had anxiety, depression for 3 months or more, that is chronic. So make note of that. Okay, we're going to be checking these. Make sure you do them now because we'll be checking these figures on day 6. And it will be so fun to see what's changed. So often things change and we don't even realize it until we go back and see the list and say, oh yeah, I forgot that symptom was affecting me. So make sure you write those down. Now, I want to talk about the difference between hydration versus detox. So the FDA recommends that in order to stay hydrated, you should drink a half an ounce of water for every pound of your body. So for example, if you weigh 100 pounds, you would drink 50 ounces of water. Sounds reasonable to me. Now, this is to stay hydrated. If you have chronic inflammation, how would we know that? Because you have chronic symptoms. If you have any symptom whatsoever, hormonal imbalance, slow metabolism, any of these things that we just talked about or that you put down on your stick figure, that tells us there's chronic inflammation. And if there's chronic inflammation, we need to use the water to support the detoxification process. That requires more than the standard FDA requirement. That requires a gallon of water per day for a grown adult. If you're really, really small, if you weigh around 100 pounds, you might drink 3/4 of a gallon of water. Otherwise, a minimum of a gallon of water per day is what will help your body, your liver, your kidneys, your lymphs to push the inflammation out. And I'm going to dive deeper into that here in just 1 minute, but I want to make sure everyone knows a gallon is 4 quarts. A quart is 32 ounces. That's why I recommend everyone to get a 32-ounce water bottle. They don't have to be 32 ounces, but in a few days I'll be showing you a trick to get this entire gallon in. You probably won't get a gallon in tomorrow or today. That's okay. I will be showing you tricks to get there. We just want you to increase your water intake now. So if you're listening right now and you're like, a gallon, that is the most massive amount of water I could possibly think of drinking in one day. It's okay. I totally got your back. What we're going to do is begin to double the water intake. And if that feels doable, triple it, right? Until we can get to a point where we're drinking a gallon of water per day. So today, if you normally drink 24 ounces, let's shoot for 50 ounces. If you normally drink 30 ounces, let's shoot for 60 ounces. So we're just going to become immensely aware of our water intake and doubling the amount of water that we typically have. Now, if you typically have 1 glass of water per day, which does happen sometimes, then I'm going to ask you to triple that, right? I'm going to push for 3 glasses of water per day. Knowing our ultimate goal is a gallon, 128 ounces, we really need to push that a little bit more. Okay, here's what will happen. You will pee a lot. Yes, it's true, you will. And we'll be talking about the logistics of that and mindset here in a few days. But when you pee, it's a good sign because that is the toxins that are leaving your body. So here's what happens, you guys. You will actually, if you imagine your body is like a riverbed, okay? And in this riverbed, there's boulders and there's pebbles and there's sand. The boulders, the pebbles, the sand, they all represent chronic inflammation stuck in your body. Some bigger, some smaller. If you have a trickle of water that goes down this riverbed each day, you may be able to support the ecosystem to some degree, right? There may be some animals and inhabitants that can drink out of the stream. You will at least hydrate the riverbed a little bit. It's not going to totally dry out. You'll be able to function. The same thing happens with our body when we drink just a little bit of water. Of course, we need water to survive, but if we're drinking just a little bit, we're able to function, to stay alive. However, the sand and the pebbles and the rocks, they don't get washed out. Maybe a little tiny bit of sand gets washed out, but mostly they just get wet and then they stay put. So the inflammation in our body also stays put. It doesn't get pushed out. Now imagine a flash flood comes, which is what we're going to be doing this week. And with that flash flood, all of a sudden, all this water is coming down the dried up riverbed and it pushes the sand and the pebbles and the boulders out. Those are toxins and inflammation in your body that are going to be pushed out as you drink a gallon of water each day. What will happen is that the water carries the toxins, which at this point are concentrated toxins because they've been sitting inside your body for so long, it carries them into your bladder. If you can imagine your bladder is like a little pool or a pond, and the bladder only fills up a third or a quarter of the way before red siren lights flash and says, alert, alert, the pond, the pool, the bladder is full of toxins. It knows that it's sitting in a pool of toxins and it's telling the brain, eliminate, eliminate. So for the first couple weeks in particular, you will be going to the bathroom more frequently, but I want you to notice when you go to the bathroom, they're typically shorter eliminations and more frequent. One of the signs that you're getting a lot of the inflammation out of your body is that you have longer eliminations further apart, because that means that those concentrated toxins aren't filling up in your bladder and making the bladder nervous, right? Sending signals to the brain saying, we have to eliminate. So I hope that makes sense. If that makes sense, please let me know in the Facebook group. Click on the link below. We want to use the water to detoxify, not just hydrate. You'll be doing both in this group. So a gallon of water is going to push those toxins and inflammation that's stuck inside your body out. This is going to give you improved energy. It's going to lubricate your joints, stabilize blood sugar levels, help ward off cravings, and help you with weight loss. It is amazing what drinking water will do, along with detoxifying, of course. Now, I want to give you a little science analogy. Water is to our liver and kidneys, which, by the way, those two organs are primarily responsible for processing the majority of toxins and inflammation out of our body. Water is to our kidneys and liver as gasoline is to a car. If your car's gas tank is on empty, you're going to sputter along the side of the highway, barely able to move, barely able to function, certainly not going at 60 mile an hour speed on the highway. The same thing happens with our liver and kidneys. Water is like fuel to our liver and kidneys. Water is a necessity for the liver and kidneys to properly detoxify. Without them, the toxins and inflammation that go into our body go into the liver and kidney. The liver and kidney can only operate at a very small percent, and there's all this extra inflammation and toxins that build up in the body. They go to the areas we're most susceptible. So for some people that could be showing up as autoimmune. Again, the skin conditions go back to your stick man. That's how the inflammation is showing up. And for some people, the body will create fat reservoirs as a method to keep the toxins as far away from your body as possible, from your organs as possible. So During this process, you begin to support the liver so it can actually process the toxins and inflammation properly, and then it can begin processing the toxins and inflammation stuck inside the body, causing these chronic symptoms, causing a slowed metabolism, causing irregular blood sugar levels or hormonal imbalance, causing weight gain, etc., right? All those chronic symptoms on your stick man. Now, if we were to put a very high quality engine oil into your gas tank, what would happen? You all know, it would break the car. Our gas tank, even though we may have the best top-notch engine oil out there, if we put it in the gas tank, it'll break. The same thing happens with our liver. The liver needs pure, clean water. Pure, clean water. Not water in smoothies, even if it's high quality smoothie. Not fresh squeezed orange juice, even though it's fresh squeezed. Not any of the vitamin water or sports water or coffee or regular teas. None of those will work for the liver in order to aid its ability to detox. Those will support you in hydration, but we're interested in detoxing this week. So make sure the water that you're drinking comes out of a faucet. It can certainly come out of a filtration system, and we'll be talking about that more later on in the journey. Or it can be bottled water. We'll get to the logistics of the best kind of water in a few days. Don't let that hang you up. For right now, just pure, clean water. There are three options you can do if you don't like the taste of water. You can add fresh squeezed lemon or lime juice to your water. And you can use organic, it has to be organic, herbal tea with 0 filler. So I like yogi tea or medicinal traditions tea. If you have an organic loose leaf tea, that's great. But read the ingredients, you'd be shocked that there's sugar and colors and dyes and preservatives and gnarly stuff in tea. So organic herbal tea or lemon or lime juice, fresh squeeze. That's the only thing you can put in your water to make it count towards our 1 gallon a day water intake. Okay, so that is our challenge, you guys. That is why water is important. We are going to be redefining water, why we drink it, how it is used in our body, and the simplicity of simply drinking water, how you can melt inflammation out of your body and lose weight, improve your energy, sleep better, reverse chronic symptoms, like all these things. So make sure, number 1, your stick figure is completed. Make sure you have a water bottle, because we want you to begin counting how many ounces of water you're drinking each day. Please make a note of it. Post it in the Facebook group. Take pictures and say, you drank this many ounces each day, and show us a picture of your water bottle. Extra brownie points for that. It is so important because each day we're going to be adding more and more until we get up to 1 gallon. So double the amount of water intake you're drinking now, or triple it if you need. We talked about the difference between hydration and detox. Oh, and yesterday in my email, I recommended that if you're low on minerals or if you're pregnant, to get pink Himalayan sea salts, or to get a remineralizer. So you can get water remineralizer drops. You need to get the kind, read the ingredients, without sugar, without citric acid. You can just get a very basic remineralizer at your health food store, whole grocer, or just add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt to a glass of water twice a day. Either way, you'll get lots of minerals. The only downside to drinking a lot of water like this is that it can wash out some of the minerals in your body. I've been drinking this way for over 10 years, and the only time I ever took remineralizers was when I was pregnant. So it's really not a big deal, even if you are pregnant or if you know you're low on minerals. Start the water challenge anyways, and in a couple days get what you need. It will not harm you in any way, shape, or form for 6 days. You will feel the difference. And like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years without any remineralizers except for when I was pregnant. Okay, that's it, you guys. This was way longer than I anticipated, but I hope that it's helpful. If it's helpful, comment in the Facebook group, Freedom from Inflammation, and make a note that on Tuesday, August 20th, next Tuesday, we are having a Q&A session. So the Q&A session will give you the link to meet us in the Jenny Carr Health and my Jenny Carr Health business page. And it is at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time, 3:45 Pacific Standard Time. And I will be taking any of your questions, but you can post ahead of time. And it will be a fabulous session to kind of celebrate your wins, what's been easy, what's been challenging, and answer any questions you have. Okay, have a beautiful day. I can't wait till tomorrow, and I promise it will be a shorter video then. Bye-bye.